Okay. How are small and medium business embracing cloud computing in India? How is the trend compared to in the West?
I think without I mean, even without cloud computing, I think the first thing is Indian SMEs in general do not invest a lot in IT, right, in information technology. So, but that is a growing trend right now in India, where we are seeing more and more SMEs, come up and adopt more on IT. And obviously, once they start looking at information technology, cloud computing is going to be the dominant, form of computing that they will invest in. In the West, however, people who are much more progressive on IT. They are obviously adopting cloud computing today as we speak, right? So it's definitely more in West than in India, but in India the growth is going to be far higher.
How have been some of the challenges in making business embrace cloud computing?
I think the first biggest challenge is to, for the business to understand where they want to use cloud computing in their entire IT needs. Whether they want to go in it for their core services or non-core services. I think that's the first discussion point. The second point is the concerns around security, reliability, privacy, etc. Right? Whether the business how much control should an IT department give up to get economies of scale. Right, so that's normally the second thing, and then the third obviously is the commercial aspect of it, which is how it is going to be priced, what are the payment terms, what is the SLA going to be, what happens if the cloud service goes down, should we pay monthly, should we pay quarterly, should we pay annually. So these are some considerations that a business normally has. First, which one to take on cloud. Second is how will it be secured, how it will be reliable, and third, how should I pay for it.
What are some of the entrepreneurial opportunities that may arise on account of rise of cloud computing?
See, entrepreneurship again, is a good area which has been impacted by cloud. First thing is today it is far more easier to start a company and get the basic infrastructure running because cloud computing offers it, on demand immediately. Versus in the previous world where you had to, if you are starting a company, you will have to set up your email, you have to set up your entire conferencing infrastructure, for example, which you don't have to do. So it's easy for companies to set up. It's easy, and let's say if the company is not doing well, it's easy to shut off also. There is no sunk cost in it. So I think that is the number one advantage. The second thing is, again, whatever, let's say it's an IT company which is offering some services in the market, you don't have to put up an entire infrastructure to offer that service. You can buy that infrastructure from a cloud provider and can scale up, scale down as you go, right? So that is going to be important. And third is, in general, the pace of innovation has increased, from the time that cloud computing has been increased, as we discussed earlier, right? So I think it gives up more opportunities, right, for companies to start up. It makes it easy for companies to start up, right, and it makes it easy for companies to offer their services in the market.
Okay, what is the concept of evangelism in Microsoft?
The concept of evangelism is a fairly mature one. It started actually about 10 years back. I think about 10-12 years back, and the idea is. For these evangelists are actually at the forefront of the technology. Typically their focus is on the next generation technologies which are not released or are soon to be released in the market, right? And what these evangelists try to do is to try to create enough buzz, excitement around whatever new technology is coming, right? So that once it releases in the market, there is enough mind share for customers to come adopt that. That is point one. I think second, evangelists are also very good resources who actually interact with customers in a non obtrusive manner to get real insight into what the customer wants, pass that feedback to the product team, be an evangelist of the customer as well to Microsoft. So it's not just a Microsoft evangelist to the customer, it's also the customer evangelist to Microsoft. So I think that's an important function.
Okay, what would be your advice to those looking to get into a technology marketing or strategy after their MBA? Skill sets or attitude?
Skill sets or?
Attitude.
Yeah, I think attitude is more important. But I think if you, I think couple of things are very important after MBA. If you want to get into, you said marketing or strategy, right? If you want to do that, I think the first thing we've got to be focused on is having the right customer insight, right? So we've got to pick an area. India, fortunately, is very diverse that you have an enterprise market here, you have a mid market here, you have a small and medium business market here, right? you have various industries like manufacturing, IT, etc. So I think the probably one of the best things one can do is to really focus on a particular niche. You know, it could be whatever. It could be manufacturing, aeronautics, pharmaceuticals, financial services. But you know, over a course of 5 to 10 years, if one were to continuously develop the insight that is required, then it places one in a very advantageous position. I think that is number one. Number two is, you know, it is typically you'll get the marketing or strategy function in, let's say, a big MNC or a large organization. And I think in large organizations, the second most important skill is how do you work with people. That's got to be very, very important, because very rarely you will be doing a project alone which is of any substantial impact. If it's even of relatively moderate impact, you will have like some 6 different people sitting on you. You'll have to collaborate a lot. There are matrixed organizations there. So I think in general people should be very clear about, you know, how do you work with people, how do you manage conflict. That's going to be very, very critical. And then the last point is, if you're especially in strategy, right, if you're going for strategy after your MBA, you've got to be very comfortable in dealing with ambiguity, right? So if that's a strength, if a person knows how to deal with ambiguity, how to still be focused and keep on making progress while there is not enough clarity, then that's the person who should go into strategy, right? If on the other hand you want everything in a prescribed fashion or largely, you know, a known world, that's not the person who should go for strategy, because typically you'll be working on problems for which the solutions are not known, right? And so from a strategy perspective, you're much better off in marketing, right, than strategy consulting or strategy marketing.
Okay, how has been your interaction with the executive PGDM students today?
It was very good. In fact, like I said, I had to cut short the session in the end because suddenly I realized I was going over time, and that was only because I think it was very, very interactive. There were a lot of questions that were coming, a lot of interesting questions, so which is good. That means at least we were having a good discussion. And secondly, I think it was not just the number of questions, but the quality of questions that if I were to look at, were, you know, I think spoke about the fact that I think all of them or majority of them had good enough experience in the industry for you to be able to understand the concept and ask a question around it. So I definitely enjoyed it.
How you want to summarize your today's session and experience coming to IMT for the guest lecturer?
So I'm coming from Gurgaon. The experience of coming to IMT, you know, let's not go there, right? But the experience after coming to IMT has been a good one. I think in general, I just want to thank IMT and everybody involved for giving the opportunity. And, you know, I also look forward in case there are other opportunities in the future that we could, you know, not just cloud computing, but talk about other things. I'd be glad to. But this is great, and I quite enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.